get it. I will.
Yeah.
Do a bunch of houses. There's other spots.
What is this? Ray, when was this one?
You
This
have
middle
one?
pic. No, I said when. This middle picture? What?
Photo?
Yeah. When was this?
Last year.
Last year?
Oh, it was Senator Helming, right, joined us?
But it's the cold therapy.
Out in Henry.
But that was a
I like it. Good stuff.
Okay, I call to order the regular meeting of Wednesday, February 26th, 2025. I ask all who have not signed in, please do so. Please turn off all cell phones and other electronic devices. Emergency exits can be found to your right and to your left. This meeting is also live streamed via YouTube with text commenting available. And at this time, if you please join the town board in the salute to the flag.
United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Couple announcements, what we usually do at the last meeting of every month. We have 7 employees who will be celebrating birthdays in the month of March, starting with March the 6th, Wilma Townsend, Dave Krenzer on the 11th, Victor Gaspar on the 16th, Carrie Miller on the 17th, Mike Van Aken on the 18th, Babette Huber on the 22nd, and Frank Mueller on the 28th of March. So happy birthday to all of those individuals. There is I'll use the term, a walk-in resolution, and this resolution is actually amending the solar resolution that was acted upon back on the February the 10th. There is no proposed change in the code. Our actions will list the code in the planned overlay districts. That's what was missed. And so we do have a walk-in. At this time, I do want to mention, I want to thank Jared Palmer for bringing this to my attention, but certainly I know your board is going to recognize the efforts of Maureen Bills, and you gave us some great information. So what I want to do is we actually have a proclamation, and then I will provide you with this, and you'll see we got a little creative, and I know Maureen's done many things for the ambulance, but I don't know, has she ever driven an ambulance? But okay, we caught her on. She's legit. She's in the photo driving. So real quick, if I may, proclamation honoring Maureen Bills for 20 years of dedicated service to the Victor Farmington Ambulance and the Victor community. Whereas Maureen Bills has dedicated 20 years of outstanding service to Victor Farmington Ambulance, demonstrating unwavering commitment, leadership, and compassion to her community. Whereas throughout her tenure, Maureen has served in multiple vital roles, including as a dedicated member, an insightful director for 10 plus years, and meticulous secretary for 5+ years, each contributing to the organization's continued success and excellence in providing emergency medical services. Whereas Maureen's leadership and vision as director helped guide the ambulance service through challenges and growth, ensuring that it remained responsive, efficient, and compassionate in its mission to serve the residents of Victor, Farmington, and the surrounding areas. And whereas as secretary, Maureen meticulously maintained the organizational records and communications, helping to create a transparent and effective environment for both volunteers and staff members. And whereas Maureen has consistently demonstrated integrity, professionalism, and a deep sense of duty to those she serves, earning the respect and admiration of colleagues, community members, and all those who have benefited from her tireless efforts. Whereas her remarkable commitment to public service and the health and well-being of her community has been a source of inspiration to all who have had the privilege to work with her. Now therefore be it resolved that the Victor Town Board, in recognition of her exceptional dedication and in honor of her 2 decades of service, do hereby congratulate Maureen Bills on her 20 years of service with the Victor Farmington Ambulance, and urge all citizens to join in recognizing and celebrating her invaluable contributions to our community. In addition, I know she evidently she must have needed another challenge in her life, because she was a former Fishers Fire District Commissioner and the chairman, or Madam Chair, for quite some time. So God bless her. Maureen she's an outstanding individual, and wish her and her husband nothing but long success. So, Jim, I don't know if it's going to you or Jared, but here you go. Couple action items, approval of meeting minutes. This would be February 10th town board meeting.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
I'll have to abstain. Unfortunately, I was in Florida. I understand it was a little cold here last
Thanks
week.
for the reminder.
Yep. He gave us a temperature update too. We weren't happy with it, so, what are you laughing about? You've been down there too, so. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And manifest number 4, we'll ask our town clerk to please introduce that.
Manifest number 4 for 2025 in the amount of $566,965.66 has been reviewed by the Victor Town Board with the following accounts charged: general townwide, general outside village, highway townwide, S&S Consolidated Sewer Fund, and trust and agency.
Thank you, Karen. And up on the screen, oh, it must be a 2-pager. It is, okay, thank you. Number 1 is payment to, and again, for those of you who don't attend town board meetings, when you hear $566,000, it stands to reason we should explain a few things here. So that's what the intention here of this manifest that is up here for your review. And again, it's that time of year. So unfortunately, though there may be a road salt shortage, there's no shortage of invoices still coming our way. So first is a payment to American Rock Salt. This is the company that we actually have a contract with. And then the second payment is actually to a company out of the Albany area for road salt that we paid for off of our contract, outside of our contract, because American Rock Salt could not provide us with. Third one is Barclay Damon, January attorney fees. Number 4, Bluestone Creek Development. This is the rent for the month of March for our Parks and Rec facility. Payment to Excellus for March invoice for retiree healthcare. Five Star Bank, January town Visa charges. Next is Hometown Energy. This is for unleaded fuel purchased during the month of January. Payment to Integrated Systems for 2025 service hours. And let's see, next is LaBello Associates. We have for $30,167.50. There are chargebacks to developers, which they will pay us back. So the total cost of the town on this invoice is actually $18,698.75. Next is payment to Lincoln Financial Employee Dental Program. Payment to Victor LDC for their 2025 town contributions. Payment to Lewis Tire, some tires purchased for our highway trucks. Payment to MVP for the March healthcare for the town employees. Mirabito Energy diesel fuel for the month of January. Payment to Ontario County. This is essentially a pass-through. So what we received, you'll see there's 3 different payments here. We received the pilot payment from Surmar. Surmar was an apartment complex over by the town courts and the post office. It's regulated because it's affordable housing for residents. So it's a pass-through. We get the portion, and again, there's payment made to Ontario County. I'm going to skip ahead. And the last 2, Victor Central School, and then Village of Victor as well. The only caveat would be on the Village of Victor, there's also a sewer payment. This was sewer invoices that were re-levied, and we collected them, and the county collected them through. So now we're making the Village of Victor whole on both sewer as well as the Surmar. And the 2 I skipped was our RG&E, January townwide gas and electric, and then payment to Southworth Milton for a highway backhoe. Total of the above-mentioned expenditures is $483,835.77. Total town expenditures minus the previous mentioned expenditures equals $83,129.89. Town board members, you have any comments or questions?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, under privilege of the floor, Victor Farmington Ambulance, Mr. Jim Hood, President, and Jared Palmer, CEO. Mr. Hood, before you get going, for the audience, so I've known Mr. Hood for a number of years, and I think the first time I've met Mr. Hood was through Scouts. And he's done an outstanding job and certainly dedicated a significant portion of his life to scouting, something he grew up with as well. An Eagle Scout
Yes, sir.
recipient himself.
October 1984.
Recently, I had the opportunity to put my signature on a letter on behalf of Dutton Hood. Happens to live in your household.
He does.
He does. And Dutton just achieved that same status as an Eagle Scout as well. So congratulations, Dad, to you. And I know there was a award ceremony, I think, this past Saturday as well. Or
Yep, Friday.
Friday,
Yeah.
okay. So,
Thank you very much, Supervisor.
no, I just wanted to mention that publicly here. Just.
I appreciate that.
Show is yours.
Supervisor Marin, members of the board, thank you very much for this opportunity to speak to you again. Again, my name is Jim Hood. I'm president of Victor Farmington Ambulance. I serve at Victor Farmington as chairman of the board, president, and also as a volunteer paramedic. As Jack mentioned, live in the village with my wife and two sons. Dutton is currently at FLCC, and Emerson is a junior at Victor High School. It's been a few years since I've had the opportunity to speak to the board, so on behalf of myself and our agency and our patients, appreciate very much having the opportunity to have privilege of the floor and to address the town board. Let me begin by thanking the town board for the support of Victor Farmington's ambulance service for our residents, our school, our community, and our local businesses. As a result of your support, Victor Farmington Ambulance is able to provide world-class emergency medical services in the towns of Victor and Farmington. While a lot of other municipalities across our region and across New York State struggle to provide rudimentary ambulance services, your foresight and leadership has provided our residents with unrivaled service. Victor Farmington has been beating all standard metrics for call coverage, response time, scene time, and quality of patient care. Victor Farmington has been recognized by the American Heart Association for the last 2 years for superior cardiac and stroke care, And I've just learned recently that 2 of our providers will be recognized later this year by the state of New York for their superior care. I'd like to take the opportunity to introduce some of the members of our board who are here tonight to support me. This is a community-run organization. I certainly couldn't do this by myself. Jared Palmer, our Chief Executive Officer, leads the operational side of our business. We format ourselves like a business. We have a board of directors. We have an operational side. From our board of directors, we've got Kevin Duhamel. Kevin's a resident of Victor. He is also director of sales at Gorbel. John McAdoo, who you guys are probably familiar with, working at Victor Fire. Dave DeGeer, owner of DeGeer Farms, and he's a lifetime member of Farmington Fire Department. Suzanne McCaffrey's our treasurer. She's also a CFP, and she actually teaches our certified CPA. My mistake. Minor, yeah. CPA, thank you. But big difference. CPA, but she also teaches not-for-profit accounting and government accounting at Rochester Institute of Technology. And Matt Janzik is one of our newest board members. He lives in Farmington. He is a vice president at Thompson Health and in charge of long-term care. So it probably comes as no surprise to the town board that the town of Victor continues to grow, and Victor Farmington has been growing along with the town. Call growth in the last 2 years just in the town of Victor is nearly 15%. That's up from 1,517 calls 2 years ago to over 1,700 calls last year just for the town of Victor. As impressive as that might sound, our current growth rate this year, comparing calls to date in 2025 versus calls to date in 2024 in the town of Victor, call volume is up 20%. So we are seeing some very significant growth in the town. As a matter of fact, the majority of the growth we're seeing in our district, which covers both towns of Victor and Farmington, the majority of the growth we're seeing right now is in the town of Victor. With the support we've had of the town contract, we've been able to be prepared ahead of those calls coming in so that we can be responsive. Since 2022, we've increased our full-time employment 60% to be able to cover the increased call volume and demand. We have covered 95% of our calls, or our goal is to cover a minimum of 95% of our calls organically. In 2024, we covered 97% of our calls organically, and the remaining 3% through mutual aid contracts with local partner agencies. I'm here tonight to ask and request that we move to a 2-year contract for the 2026 to 2027 period. We believe this will help position both the ambulance and the town for long-term success. This will help us align with other local towns and municipalities where the agencies in the towns operate multi-year contracts. A 2-year agreement, we believe, would be mutually beneficial for both the agency and the town by helping us better plan our budgets and execute strategies rather than constantly coming back every 8 months to renegotiate. So we'd appreciate your support and your consideration of that proposal. Victor Farmington Ambulance remains a strong member of the Victor community. Just some highlights. We now provide, Jared, you guys were talking about the photographs on the summary page here are some of the AEDs we've provided to the community. You may not be aware, one of the things we do is we have an AED program where Victor Farmington provides an AED to a local community organization, could be a business or a civil organization. We supplement the price of that AED and we provide training for that AED to get these AEDs out in the community. We're also providing AED services for the town of Victor, including maintenance of the town's AEDs and CPR training. We have a strong relationship with the Victor Central School System. We regularly cover medical standbys for sporting events and other large gatherings free of charge. We've become the district's CPR and first aid training provider. We're currently running a Medical Explorers program with the school district to provide hands-on education and real experience for students We've had 2 interns from the school district work with us, and we're currently planning on a 3rd. We've participated in the Hang Around Victor Days event and provided standby coverage for other community events like the Turkey Trot. And most importantly, it'll reiterate the support that we receive from the town of Victor ensures that we're able to continue providing first-class emergency medical service to our residents. So thank you very much for making our town a caring, safe place for our families, our neighbors, our schools, and our businesses.
Thank you, Jim. I do appreciate you bringing up the 2-year contract. I know you and I have spoken about it, Jared and I have spoken about it as well, and board members, I'd certainly not looking for any decision, but certainly love you to consider that when we get into our budget process, because I think it really makes sense, to consider this. So, thank you. Board, any questions for Jim?
I'll make a quick comment. I'm going to overlook the Hang Around Victor Day comment.
I'm sorry, did I call it
No,
Hang
you're
Around
good.
Victor?
It'll always be hang around Victor Day.
I'll have to apologize.
Oh, no, you're totally fine. I just wanted to make a couple quick comments. So the Medical Explore program that you guys are doing with the interns, that's how I got my start through, I was a sophomore at Pittsford Mendon. I did a internship through SEQ at the time,
Okay.
and that's how I got started with being a paramedic. So a wonderful program, a tremendous support for that. And then, because I work in that industry, I have a little bit of insight, maybe more than most of the board, on the performance metrics that you guys are meeting. It's easy to see it on paper. 97% is obviously great, but I think that, maybe the board, and I wanted to mention to them, when we look at the comparables. So, for example, when I grew up volunteering with Pittsford Ambulance, in 8,000 hours of service to them, I never went beyond a contiguous township on a mutual aid call. Pittsford Ambulance, I'm hearing them being dispatched to the town of Greece, the city of Rochester, and those agencies are going all over, and it's not just a one-off, it's an everyday thing. Yeah. So looking at the call numbers here, the percentage coverage, the increase to 15% is, it truly is excellent, and I can't commend you guys enough on what you're doing.
We really appreciate that.
Thank you
Very much.
Any other questions for Jim?
I just like to say, because I feel like, as the one who's due with the baby at the end of next week, that the timing that the supervisor got you guys here is really just fantastic. These guys have all been worried I'm going into labor any minute.
In the room?
And I think the supervisor's been worried that he's going to have to scrub in at one of these meetings for me. And so this is why I invited all these EMTs. It's wonderful. So thank you.
You're very welcome.
But wanted to say on the 2-year contract, it's definitely something I'd support. And I think the way that the 2-year works out with the 26-27 perfectly aligns with how our terms are too. So our board would be, I think it's 3 of us at the end of that one term, would, I think, work out really well. And on the staffing, I know Councilman Cusimano or not staffing, but the 97% just mentioned it. That's an incredible number, because just to kind of bring a little bit more perspective to it, in my day job, I work with a lot of rural communities, and there are places that, we've got an ambulance provider in a community I work with that has an 82-year-old is running there, currently has the certificate of need right now for 4 different towns, and no longer can do it. And the county has said, well, we need to buy a building and get someone in there and get it staffed. They're on diversion like every single day, mutual aid. So the fact that you guys are at 97 is truly incredible, and something that I think people probably just don't realize, that we are very fortunate to have those numbers here. So I would totally be in favor of the 2-year.
The only comment I have, Supervisor Marin, is I'm surprised you bring up the 2-year, since I recall the ambulance being late when you needed it a couple of years ago. I'm not trying to do any HIPAA violations here. I understand you had to wait quite a while, but no. You guys are doing a great job, so.
You have to excuse me. He was out in the sun a lot. Weeks, like many of us, we were out in the sun a lot in the last 2 cold weeks. So, thank you.
Supervisor, I forgot, I did want to ask one question. So,
Yes, sir.
The model that you guys have operated out of the Victor Firehouse, where you currently have
Yep.
trucks running out of there, I mean, I think that that's worked very, very well. I think certainly probably I would speculate that your long-term goal continues to diversify where your ambulances are. In the next few years, do you anticipate, and certainly there's contracts and agreements between, but do you anticipate that that location at Victor Fire will be something that you look to collaboratively use for the next few years?
We are anticipating continuing the relationship with Victor Fire. We recently purchased a property in the town of Farmington as well, and so Victor Fire allows us to bias about 5-6 minutes into the town from our headquarters to respond better into the town of Victor when we have a second or third crew up. We're looking to do the same into the town of Farmington, so we've recently purchased a property in the town of Farmington that will also bias us similarly toward the east.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very good. I did, was in the, with a few Fishers Fire District members the other day, commissioners, and they were advocating again for more love from your company on the west side, and I said, it's not happening. Okay, no. I took the hit for you. I said, it's not happening. You're going to stay in the village, so. I do want to recognize your board member, Kevin Duhamel, because I recognize your son, Dutton, and I know Kevin's son recently became an Eagle Scout as well, so congratulations. Both you fathers. Well done, gentlemen. Jim, thank you.
Again, thank you very much
That's
to
it.
everyone on the
Mike?
board. Really appreciate the opportunity to continue to serve.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, public comment. We'll start with Susie. No public comments. Members of the public care to address the town board? Casey, I appreciate you sitting on this side of the room too. And Mr. Nankin was getting a little lonely over there, so I appreciate you sitting over here. So. Okay, no public comment. Under reports of town officials, we have our highway department. Casey certainly talked in her under recycling, an increase in permits, many of which are, I guess I didn't realize, it said that long driveways.
Because that's what I'm getting, people coming in.
I guess you know what surprised me that, because I had heard from many residents that they utilize the transfer station because to bring the tote all the way to the end of their driveway. So I guess I didn't know that these service providers went up the driveways.
I guess you can pay extra to have them come up your driveway. They use a smaller
Okay,
truck.
well, thank you. And Highway Superintendent, Mr. Years, I do want you to know, I did hear from a resident today that I'm going to give him your contact information. He's going to send you an email, but he had, lives in a development off of High Street, and he recently had his mailbox replaced. He didn't know his mailbox had been damaged, but he was very thankful. So, Mr. Marino. Mr. Marino at one point used to be on the ZBA as well. And in addition, we have Highway, we have IT, and our Parks and Rec. Any question, board members, on these reports?
No, I just want to echo, Jack, in terms of the job that Mark has done under a really difficult situation with the salt. I heard a lot of people talking about the fact that they required sensible salting, and, I think he did a good job getting the word out that, it's going to be intersections and hills and, the more dangerous spots in the town, and I think people appreciated that, and I think they understood, right? They understood how much ice and how cold it was. I mean, it was, 2 full weeks there with no break. It's been the coldest winter in quite a while. You look at the RG&E though, and I think the average temperature is 15 degrees below what it was a year ago for the month. So, nice job. Thank you.
Board members?
With the salt shortage, are we, like for the contract, are we locked in for multiple years, or are we looking at, I don't know if that's a question for you, Mark, I guess, or looking at other alternatives?
So this contract was with Ontario County, was an Ontario County contract and Wayne County for 2 years total.
Okay, so
we
next
are-
year too, we're with American.
We are
Housing?
with them for 2 years, correct.
And that, I mentioned that company, Appalachia, I think is it, in
Yeah.
south of Albany. They are no longer providing salt. I guess that's, so I know Bill Wright, the Commissioner of Public Works for the county, has been exploring Canada, where the DOT is currently purchasing, so he's looking into that. Not sure, and Mark and I were exchanging text messages last night, just trying to get an understanding of where we are. And, Mr. Wright is looking into Canadian salt for those communities that are certainly in desperate situation. Just real quick, everyone in your mailboxes, you should have received the Fishers Fire District January monthly, January enhanced law enforcement report, Victor Fire Department monthly report, copy of the Victor Hiking Trail letter of support for a grant application, and a one-page report on the impact of tourism in Ontario County. And again, I asked any other board member, any comments, questions?
Attended the village board meeting last week. I will leave if there's any updates from our trustee, Sean McAdoo, but I don't think, much, the village is doing great. Same salt, issue that we're having as well in the town. And then I just had actually a question that someone brought to me, because I guess it actually happened twice since our last meeting, where our supervisor and deputy supervisor have both been out of town at the same time. So I wasn't sure if there's like a, what happened, because like deputy supervisor's there when in the main role, when something happens with the supervisor, in case there is some sort of emergency, knock on wood, thankfully there was not. I jokingly said to them, I'm pretty sure it goes to whoever the oldest elected official is, and that's Judge Coker, and as the youngest elected, I am absolutely at the bottom of the list, please, thank you. But I just wasn't sure, is that something I guess we need to address in the future?
Probably, I think it's,
Wow.
no, I think it's a great point. I think this is probably the first time the deputy and I were both out of town at the same time. So something I need to explore to have at least checks and balances in place. Because calling on one of our judges,
Yeah.
especially the first one you named.
That's what I said, I said you should just go to the oldest elected official in the town, and that's Judge Coker, and yeah, I'd be at the bottom of the list. Please don't call me if there's an emergency.
Okay. Thank you. Appreciate you bringing that up. Any other comments? Okay, what I'd like to do before we get into, we'll get into the business section, but if I could, I'd like to introduce again this walk-in one. This is again, we had the, at our last meeting, the resolution number 56-2025, and this is again, has to do with saying we're amending the resolution, and we have the code section change that has to do with the solar overlay district and how it will be listed. Under 211-15 planned and overlay district, which is on page 2 of your, where it mentions under amendment number 4.
Everything else stays the same.
Correct. Yeah. But that's the only, it's just adding this.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now under the published resolutions, starting with resolution number 1, acknowledgement of the appointment of Kevin Flagg to the position of foreman for the highway department.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Congratulations, Kevin. Okay, number 2, purchase of a 2025 Freightliner and declaring a 2013 Freightliner single axle, as surplus.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Mark, I know you can't predict, but do you have a ballpark? What will that 13 bring? Any idea? When you sell it, when it goes to auction?
Well, bring, it's a single axle, so it probably won't bring as much as some of the 10-wheeler would.
You might not hear it.
But it was I'm not sure how much it'll bring. It's a single axle, so it definitely won't bring as much as a 10-wheeler,
Yeah,
so.
right.
No, I maybe 30, I don't know. I don't wanna
Probably
guess.
bring 30 or in excess of that, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
What they were doing in the last Monroe County sale, if the market stays the same, it might get more because they went up so much, so.
I was just curious.
With this, with the short, or not really being able to order trucks right now, that might have something to do with it too, so,
Right. Nothing's cheap.
no, so.
And I do know, attending the Victor Fire District board meetings and, or commissioner meetings, and they're 900 days out on pieces of equipment.
Wow.
It's just like 900 days out.
If we're lucky.
Okay, resolution number 3, this is the, to purchase a 2025 Western Star and retaining a 2015 Western Star for a backup fleet.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 4, state lane mileage change and reimbursement percentage. This is amendment to the 2024 DOT municipal ice agreement.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 5, amending resolution number 244-2024. Again, this is contract with the DOT. And this is extending this, actually, this is for additional monies, $31,316.87.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, under Parks and Recreation, Councilwoman Olger, I want to thank you for connecting with Brian and going out and looking at these areas where these crosswalks and where the beacon signs, flashing signs would be. So thank you in advance here. This is, again, money would be financed through the town's American Rescue Plan Act funds. Any questions? For a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Number 7, authorization to purchase touchless hand dryers, baby bathroom safety seats, stall hooks, baby changing stations to upgrade accessibility to the town facility restrooms through the Granger Incorporated New York State contract. And again, there is on page number 4 of your packet, it has a breakdown as to where these baby seats would go, and the hand dryers, hooks, etc., the various parks that will be impacted. And again, this was money through the American Rescue Plan Act. Total spend, $3,875.49.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Number 8, authorization for the purchase of a portable Gaga. Is that? Oh, okay, I had to really,
Don't ask me, I never reply.
after, thanks for the backup, because I wasn't sure, but then after I saw it, I said, well, this makes sense.
I thought Lady Gaga was coming for a concert. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I had to look it up too.
If anyone wants to see it, I have a picture of it, okay? Resolution number 9, the after public hearing, again, to amend the official zoning map, and this has to do with the public hearing held on January 6th. This has to do with the land over negative impact, negative declaration on the PDD. This is for the Lehigh Place PDD.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Mr.
Oh,
Supervisor,
my
can we back up
apologies.
there a second? Just to clarify, that resolution wasn't for the neg deck. That resolution was to adopt and amend the zoning law to create the Lehigh Place PDD. We did the neg deck.
January 27th.
So this resolution is for
The PDD.
the PDD, the creation of the PDD and the amendment of the zoning law. So I just want to clarify that
Okay.
for the board.
Thank you.
I'd stand with my second for that then.
Yeah.
Roll call.
Supervisor Marin,
Yes.
Councilmember Condon,
Yes.
Councilmember Guinan,
Yes.
Councilmember Cusimano,
Yes.
Councilmember Oprah.
No.
Okay, number 10, closing a maintenance bond.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 And number 11, 1086 Strong Road subdivision, letter of credit. This is release number 2.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Public comment. We'll ask members of the audience first if they have any comments they care to bring to the attention of the town board. Hearing none. Susie? This time we'll entertain a motion to adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Aye.